So welcome back to another episode, and there's been a lot of people talking about a certain game that got released that is a disaster. It's a disaster to them, that's what they say, and that is for this little game right here, Skull Island Rise of Kong. I have the PS5 version. I ordered this off Amazon. I was so curious because everybody's saying this game is terrible, it's the worst thing ever, and you know me, I only buy games on the show that I think I'm going to enjoy. And usually I do. Usually the games that I pick up are really good. Unless it was like Cyberpunk on release. So I was like, you know what? Why don't I try this game and see if it's as bad as everybody's saying? Can it be really this bad? So are any of you guys interested in Skull Island Rise of Kong? Are you getting the game? Are you staying far away from it? Let me know down below. And I'm a guy who played Gollum this year, Lord of the Rings Gollum. And I tried to enjoy that game. And boy, oh boy, that game was a massive disappointment. And I'm like, it was kind of fun. It was kind of funny, I should say, to play it because it was so ridiculous of what a design process they had on it and what they ended up getting. And I'm a guy who came from playing Dynamite Ducks back in the day in the Sega Master System, one of the worst games I've ever played in my entire life, one of my most hated games, which I secretly love as well. So I'm going in with an open mind and to have a bit of fun, I think, with this Skull Island. Is it going to deliver?
Fantasy stories told by the gullible.
So the game is by Game Mill Entertainment, and I want to say something. I think this company should remove the word entertainment. Number one, that's just to begin with, remove it. Just call them Game Mill. You're set. You're ready to go. Remove the word entertainment. I didn't know who they were, but they've released a lot of other franchise games in the past, and they're not very well received, and they're not very great games. So they're just kind of like a smaller developer that are kind of just pushing out games at a very fast rate. I heard they made this game in a year. And does it show? Does it feel like it? The answer is yes and yes. So I installed the game, I put it on, and I'm like, let's go. Let's begin this thing. How bad can it possibly be? The very first screen, the first start screen, right there, showing Kong looking at Skull Island. I'm like, that's the skull on Skull Island? Really? Really? There's no textures? It's just an outline drawing of a skull? And I'm like, we are not off to a great start here. But then the opening cinematic began to explain the story of Kong and Skull Island. And I'm like, okay, let's go. And it starts off with some paintings, probably in a cave. And I'm thinking, okay, this looks okay. This is fine. Let's get to the real cinematic. No, this is the movie. This is the backstory that they're telling the entire story with these cave paintings. And what a way to cheaply tell the story. No amazing thing of Kong, bashing down and animals running around and, trying to get out of his way in the jungle. I was expecting something like that. Tribesmen on the island, worshiping Kong, showing how magnificent he is. No, it's just drawings on the inside of a cave. And I'm like, okay, they took the cheap route here just to kind of put that out there and explain the story this way.
The story of Kong.
And then boom, the game just begins. There's Kong, you're there, and you're running around, and I'm like, it just starts like that? There's no explanation, there's no kind of warm-up, going from that cinematic into like a transitional phase into the game itself. No, pop, boom, there you go. And at this point, I knew I'd made a terrible mistake. And I was smiling, I was laughing. I'm like, this game really is not looking that good. I'm like, wait a second. I'm running around with him for a second. I'm like, okay, the controls are okay. And then all of a sudden, the camera and the shake of it all. If you move around anything, you're getting this weird, janky camera shake. And I'm like, oh God, this is really horrible. It's just so jittery that I'm just like, I'm shaking while I'm playing the game. I'm like, this is so weird. This is so crazy. And I'm like, John, they did this in a year and they pushed it off as a full price game. And I'm like, and I'm playing it. I'm like, what am I doing? I'm thinking, is this a joke? Is this game for real? I'm running around and I'm looking at the environments and I'm like, these are the environments? Really? some horrific textures and just the placement of foliage and things like that and trees. You're like, this is it? This is what I got? I couldn't believe I was playing this game on PS5. I couldn't believe that this was a real game. And I went in thinking, yeah, the game's not going to be that good, but I couldn't believe to the depths of how horrific it was. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh my God, I have to do this. This is really, really bad. This is not even fun. And even when there's an intentional camera shake, it feels so artificial and it takes you out of the game. You're like, this is not normal. This is not real. This is a real game. Yes, it is, and I'm playing it. And even when you're running around and you have some basic attacks, I won't even call them combos. Yeah, you can do combos if you want to call it that. You do a couple of hits into somebody or anything like that, and then you can do a big power move. The thing is, even when you do your moves in this game, like power moves and stuff like that, the weird effect, the weird filter they use, just seems like something that's not right. It feels like the whole environment gets phase shifted or something. It doesn't seem normal. And you're like, every time you're doing this power move, you're like, is there something wrong with the game? Is there something wrong with the game? It doesn't feel that it's adding to the effect of the power hit that you're doing. It just feels like the environment just gets this weird filter through it. So I just continue playing it, and as I'm controlling Kong and he's running into the foreground, all of a sudden, all the dirt is being kicked up by the back of his heels. And I'm just like, I can't believe these are real effects. Like, come on. Come on. It just doesn't stop. The game just keeps happening. It just keeps happening. And I'm like, come on. That can't be a real effect. I'm like, yeah, it is. And they put it in the game. And this is the game, I am playing. And here's something I love in video games. I have a bit of a thing for it in so many games. I love waterfalls, especially in modern games and in older games as well. I love it. It always has a very pleasing feeling, seeing the waterfall coming off into the water below. It's usually a beautiful thing. Not in this game. I'm running around and I see a waterfall and I look and I'm like, this can't be real. I'm like, that's the waterfall? That's the waterfall? It's so untextured. There's no flow to it. It feels like a cheap effect from, I wouldn't even say a PlayStation 2 game. Some PlayStation 2 games had better waterfalls than this. I'm like, oh my God. And I just sat there and then I saw another waterfall later on. And I'm like, this game just keeps happening to itself. I mean, even I'm in the first level of the game. The first level of the game, and this is the quality. Again, this is a full price game. And yes, you're getting into combat. There's like mini dinosaurs attacking you. You're pounding them. And it's all very unfulfilling and it doesn't feel good. You're not enjoying yourself. You're never having a good time. That's the thing. I never had any moments when I was like, hey, this is a pretty fun game, or hey, I'm enjoying running around. Hey, I'm enjoying jumping from this section to this section. Never one bit of fun in the game. In fact, when I am in combat, all of a sudden the leaves are all getting in my way with a bad camera that they're using. And I'm like, what am I looking at? I can't even see the combat as the enemies that I'm hitting. And I'm just like, this game is an absolute bona fide disaster. And yes, as I said, there's no fun gameplay, and I think there's a few reasons why. First of all, combat is not engaging at all. It's just blah. It's just blah. Jumping around is not fun from one ledge to the next. Even running and jumping, there's no fun. Climbing up something is not fun. There's no fun, and I think it's because of the level design itself. It feels pointless. It feels pointless. In fact, I go into some sections of the game, I'm like, oh, I can't even get through here. I don't get rewarded. There's no special thing or special secret entrance to go underneath something. There's no reward system here for doing anything at all. The only thing you get is a terrible game. That's the one thing they keep on giving you and giving you. Even the tutorial sections of the game where the game stops and a little box comes up and shows you what to do next, even that is jittering. Even that is jittering. They couldn't even get that right. I was looking at it and going, oh my gosh, what is going on, man? What is going on? And I'm telling you, this is something funny too. I actually have become sick after playing the game. I'm not joking. I'm not playing this up for the video. I got a sore throat after playing the game. And I just start to feel a little bit like lightheaded. I'm like, oh, I'm getting a cold. This game is so bad that it actually made me sick as well. And I can't believe it. And let me say something. I really mean this. I have no fun coming in here and just ragging on this game so much. But the game was such an oddity and such a curiosity to me. So many people were talking about it, and I'm like, oh yeah, everybody's just cashing in, just, making a big deal of this game that's probably not even that bad. And then the proof is in the pudding. And I'm somebody, I gotta say, I like King Kong as a character. I always have since I was a kid. I used to watch all the movies when I was younger. I used to really get something out of them. And the mystique of Skull Island, there's so much we could have done here. And I think that's the problem. Is I swear to God, I think in about 25 minutes, I could have made a better Skull Island first opening level. I could have drawn something up. I could have conceived of something easily that is better than all of this put together. And I think it's such a lost, wasted opportunity of using a great franchise, King Kong, Skull Island. Amazing creatures you could have had on there. Really amazing boss battles. Something that would have been exciting to explore the island. Could you imagine like a Metroidvania style of Skull Island where you're going around unlocking different things and different abilities and opening up different sections of the island? That already sounds better than like an hour of play that I did there. It's crazy. It's crazy. I honestly... I feel bad for the developers. I feel bad for the team because they must have been pushed to go, get this game out. We don't care what it looks like. This comes from management. Oh yeah, because anybody who would play that game would know that this is horrible and this is unacceptable. And are people going to buy this game out of curiosity? I did. Are they going for that? I don't know. I would hope not, but I'm so blown away by the lack of entertainment. As I said, Game Mill, you need to lose the word entertainment from your game company. You need to lose that because this game is an absolute bona fide disaster of epic proportions that is even worse than Gollum. And that's saying something. And I'm going to say something even crazier. I feel it's even worse than Dynamite Ducks. No, I take that back. Dynamite Ducks is still up there as one of my most hated games of all time. But Skull Island, man, what a game. What an experience. And it is an experience. I would love to invite all of you over just to play this game. Just so you could, to see the look on your faces. And it's one of those things that's kind of like a B movie. It's so bad that it's almost humorous. You cannot believe you're watching this movie. Like a movie like Samurai Cop. You watch that and you're like, this is bad, but it's also very, very good.
Have you been circumcised?
Yeah, I have. Why?
Well, your doctor must have cut a big portion of it off.
No, he was a good doctor.
This game is humorous in that it is bad, but it's not recommended at all. I wouldn't recommend it to anybody. Not even my worst enemy. I would say play this game. I mean, nobody wants to waste their time like this. I mean, so funny to me though. So funny. I had to turn the game off. I was like, I can't do any more of this. I just can't. I can't waste time on something that is this big of a disaster. And will it be going into my games of the year that are the most disappointing games of the year to me? Yes, this and Gollum are absolutely there. They're number one, man. They're number one. And I thought it'd be funny being the happy console gamer coming in here and trying to give it the good old college try. And I did. I didn't just want to jump on the bandwagon. I wanted to really get something out of this game. I didn't get it with textures. I didn't get it with combat. I didn't get it with opening cinematics. I didn't get it with gameplay. I didn't get it with level design. I didn't get it with music. I didn't get it with anything. I didn't get nothing out of this experience except for $40, absolutely, that I will never see again. So, guys, that is my take on the new Rise of Kong Skull Island. What do you guys think of this game? Are any of you crazy people playing it as well? Let me know down below. So anyways, guys, until next time.